I, tomorrow morning with Commissioner Gonzalez, have the Board of Health meeting, as well as a NACO Human Services Committee meeting in Pikes Peak Library District, on which I serve with Commissioner Williams. Those are all tomorrow. And then I also wanted to just make a quick little comment that, if I had my phone ringer on right now, you would hear that about every couple of minutes I'm receiving an email saying no shutdowns. I am reading every single email. Many of them have very, very valid points. And I wanted to let you know that I think I'm speaking for all of my colleagues here when I say that El Paso County is committed to keeping our businesses, our economy, and our schools open. And we have invested a tremendous amount of time and resources and allocated federal resources that came down through the county to help our local businesses stay open. And so on that note, I wanted to let you know that this board is entirely committed to keeping our businesses and economy open. We're also, which is why we're basically imploring people to make their own individual best choices. Make the choices that are best for you, safest for you and your family, and we will remain committed to helping our economy and our education system and all of our residents in El Paso County continue to prosper and thrive.
We greatly appreciate all of the comments we received from constituents regarding a potential shutdown. This is something that I know as commissioners we would not want to do. We know that the previous shutdown affected many people's livelihoods. It affected employees, businesses, restaurants. As soon as we were notified of a procedure to be able to get some of these business sectors back open, including restaurants and houses of worship, as well as other items, we got them open as soon as possible. We did a multi-sector variance. The governor has now gone to a plan where we're expected to meet certain numbers, and as we don't meet those numbers, he does ask us to apply for a mitigation plan. We have applied for a mitigation plan, and we do ask him to take that mitigation plan seriously. As the economy has opened, as individuals have been able to return to work, to their daily activities of living, to school, we knew that there would be a spike in this virus, and we know that we're going to have to get through that spike. We also know that a vaccine is on the horizon. The one frustrating thing for this situation for the commissioners has been is that Colorado law does put the governor in charge, as well as his institution, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. So we strongly encourage him to please keep our businesses open, and we will continue to work with him to push him to do that. And we want our citizens to know that that we are not going to shut down businesses. Thank you.
I did want to concur with Commissioner Bremer and Commissioner Williams. The emails I had been receiving were based on apparently some rumors that we would be voting on Wednesday to shut down. At least that's what the email said. So again, that is not accurate. The commissioners will not be voting on that tomorrow or today.
Or any time.
Or at any time. We've been very supportive of our businesses and our schools and taking care of our residents. And if you look at the numbers, you can see how well we have been doing against our comparative large counties up and down the Front Range. And so that's a testament to the efforts of all the county and the county public health. But again, those rumors are not accurate, and we have been and can continue to be very supportive of our residents, our businesses, our schools, and our churches. Thank you, and all residents.
I also want to talk about all the emails that we've received regarding this shutdown or this potential shutdown. It always amazes me, and we've gotten, I don't know, a couple hundred so far, it seems like, calling for no shutdown. And in those emails that I've received, and I'm sure my colleagues have received as well, a number of them quote the Constitution of the United States of America, in particular the 14th 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America when they're calling on us to not shut down. I wish that people would read the entire Constitution before they send us those emails, because I think that they'd have a much greater understanding of what the Constitution says and what our authority actually is as it relates to the Constitution. In Article 1 of the Constitution, it establishes the Congress. Article 2 establishes the executive branch, and Article 3 establishes the judiciary. And those three branches are established in the Constitution for one particular reason, and that's to provide checks and balances. So not one entity has, not one of those three branches has all of the authority and all of the power. So when you're looking at the Constitution of the United States of America and you're contemplating it, and it's talking about the 14th Amendment amongst others, but you look at those first three, nowhere in the Constitution does it say that the El Paso County Board of County Commissioners is the check to the governor of the state of Colorado. And by the way, the U.S. Constitution doesn't mention the governor of the state of Colorado at all, but I'm here to tell you the Constitution of the state of Colorado is in that way modeled after the Constitution of the United States of America. It also creates those checks and balances to power, so not one person has it all. And guess what the Constitution to the state of Colorado also doesn't say? It doesn't say the three branches of government are the governor, the El Paso County Board of County Commissioners, and the health department. No, it doesn't say that at all. It says the three branches of government in the state of Colorado, just like in the United States of America, modeled after the greatest constitution ever written in the history of constitutions being written. It says we've created an executive branch, the governor, a legislative branch, the House and Senate in the state of Colorado, and a state judiciary as well. Again, El Paso County not mentioned at all. So it's confusing to me when I get these emails. I get these emails that are quoting the Constitution, and then those same emails are telling me to tell the governor what to do. Guess what? This board is not a check to the governor's power. We don't balance the power. The legislative branch does that. I have time and time and time and time again during this pandemic said, you know what? I believe the governor is overreaching his executive authority. I believe that emergency powers set forward in the Constitution for the governor are supposed to be limited in scope and time. I think that's right. Unfortunately, our Constitution is pretty limited in the words that it uses that way, but the way that you create that balance so you can keep him in check is to then go to the judiciary. And I have, as this pandemic has gone on, said time and time and time and time again, legislature, please take action and sue the governor to make sure he doesn't have this unilateral authority for an extended period of time, a year, 2 years, whatever it is. But it's the legislature of the state of Colorado that needs to be the check to balance the governor's power. That's what the legislature's responsibility is. Right now, quite frankly, I wish the Constitution did say that the El Paso County Board of County Commissioners could be the check to the governor's powers, because guess what? We'd be doing it because we think it's important. But we're not. That's not the way the Constitution was structured. It doesn't give us that authority and that power. That is vested in a different branch of government. And quite frankly, I don't think we want to be changing it, right? This is modeled on the best Constitution in the entire world, the Constitution of the United States of America. So we probably don't want to change that to give that kind of authority to the El Paso County Board of County Commissioners. I wish I had it right now, but probably, in the long run, that's not a good thing to do. So I would encourage the citizens that are sending all of these emails in, understand what it is you're asking us to do. So many of the emails have also said, council member, please vote no on this. We're not voting on anything. We're not the ones that are putting these restrictions in place. We don't even know what the restrictions are going to be at this point in time. Here's where we are right now. Here's the structure of where we are at this point in time regarding the COVID crisis. A couple of us, Commissioner Gonzalez and I, participated in a phone call with the governor on Thursday, last Thursday, I believe it was, because I'm the chair, he's the vice chair. So we participated in a call with the governor, and the governor effectively said to us, listen, if you don't do more, if you don't come up with the numbers are going up. We said, yep, Mr. Governor, we agree with you, numbers are going up. But guess what? We're not seeing a significant increase in hospitalizations. We're not seeing a significant increase in deaths related to COVID. So we think you need to be looking at other measurement criteria as well. And the governor said, thank you for that, but I'm not going to do that. You know why? Because we're not a check to his power. You know, he can completely blow us off if he wants to do. And I'll tell you, over the months that we've been dealing with the COVID crisis, guess what? He's done nothing but blow off advice that we've given him because he's not required to listen to us, and he doesn't. So in this call on Thursday, we have this discussion with him, and we said, I get it. The numbers are going up, but hospitalizations aren't significantly going up. Deaths aren't increasing. You need to just slow your roll here just a little bit. He said, thanks, but I'm going to move forward. And he said, El Paso County, here's what your charge is. And Colorado Springs, here's what your charge is. Since the numbers are going up, you need to come up with a mitigation plan that's going to help us bring those numbers down. And if you don't come up with a mitigation plan that we like, then we're going to be forced to add further restrictions as we move forward. And so on this call was our Director of Public Health, Susan Whelan. And as we're talking on this call, and it's one of those Zoom meetings, so I can see her face, and I can see the exasperation in her face. And after the meeting was over, I called her up and I said, Susan, based on the science out there, what are we not doing? And she said, you know what, it's not like this is associated to one particular demographic area. This isn't like Boulder, where college kids were at a party, got, really increased the spread of COVID, and Boulder engaged in some, what some might call draconian measures to, effectively lock college kids down and not let them out of their dorm rooms for a while. That's not what we're experiencing in El Paso County. We're experiencing a circumstance in El Paso County whereby the numbers are just kind of going up all over the region in every demographic group. You can't point to restaurants as a reason that the numbers are going up. You can't point to, increased contacts in senior living facilities as a reason that numbers are going up. You can't even point to schools as a reason that numbers are going up. It just seems like they're going up overall in the county. So there really isn't much that we can do to increase a mitigation plan, nothing scientifically based stuff that we can do to mitigate these efforts to bring the numbers down. So where does that leave us? Again, not one of us here is going to cast a vote on this. Not at all. It leaves us in a circumstance where, we're going to get to, and the governor says, by the way, you got till next Friday to figure it out. That's this coming Friday. You have to have it figured out by then. If you don't figure it out by then, we may engage in more restrictions. They didn't tell us what those restrictions are, by the way. So when people mention shutdown, that's not what the governor has said. Maybe that's where he's going to go. I don't think so, but certainly up to the governor. So we're looking at a circumstance where we have to come up with a mitigation plan, and if we don't come up with that mitigation plan, and not just come up with a mitigation plan because we've been mitigating all along, but if we don't come up with a mitigation plan that the state likes, then they are going to engage in further restrictions. The state is going to engage in further restrictions. There's not going to be a vote of the El Paso County Board of County Commissioners to decide whether we engage in further restrictions. There's not going to be a vote from at least to my knowledge, from the City Council of Colorado Springs to engage in further restrictions. If further restrictions come, it's going to be a decision made by the governor of the state of Colorado, Jared Polis, and the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, a state agency. Now, the last thing I'll say to y'all is this, and I apologize for this long soliloquy, but I think that this is incredibly important. But the last thing I'm going to say to y'all is this. Listen, I'm going to speak for this entire Board of County Commissioners. We want to do everything we can to keep our community safe. That's what we want to do. We also want to do everything we can to make sure that we're getting out of businesses' way and allowing them to be successful, our small business owners that are out there. So to the degree that we've made any decisions regarding COVID, and it's been very few, it's always been done with an eye not to suppress people's rights, but to make sure we're doing everything we can to protect the public safety while at the same time protecting people's livelihoods. You know, one of my colleagues, Commissioner Vanderwerf, early on in this discussion suggested that perhaps contact tracing is a way to ensure that we're protecting the public safety while at the same time trying to grow the opportunity to make sure that our businesses are well protected. And Commissioner Vanderwerf experienced a tremendous amount of grief because folks said you can't contact trace us. Now, you might agree or disagree on whether contact tracing is the right thing to do. And let's have that discussion. Let's have that disagreement. And you know what? Commissioner Vanderwerf and I disagree on a lot of things over time. But there's one thing I know about Commissioner Vanderwerf as he was discussing and trying to come up with opportunities when he was discussing contact tracing. And that is that he didn't want to suppress people's rights. He didn't want to make this worse for our citizens out there. He was doing what he could to protect the public safety, while at the same time trying to ensure that our citizens have the right to continue freely moving about their lives. So as you contemplate and consider what it is this board's doing or not doing, I want you to know this unequivocally, and I want you to know this without any question at all. To a person, there isn't one person on this board that wants to suppress your rights in any way. Every decision we make is made because we want to protect the public safety, and we want to do everything in our power to make sure our community is moving forward in a positive direction. So just remember that as you're sending us emails and as you're contemplating action that you feel that you need to take as citizens. Know that to a person on this board, everybody's doing their level best to protect the public safety and protect citizens' rights.
I agree with everything that was said. For those that, and I am receiving those emails as well, for those that are sending those emails, based on the comments that you've heard, I highly recommend that you send those emails to the Colorado Department of Public Health and to the governor. They are the ones that are going to be making those decisions. I will never vote to close down the economy here. We don't even have the authority to do that, but if I did, I would never vote for that. When the governor closed down the economy previously, that was a huge mistake, caused an enormous amount of damage, and I would encourage the governor to not do it again. In fact, quite the opposite of that is this board worked diligently and hard with our El Paso County Public Health Office, our hospitals, and our community and our businesses to write a large number of variances, including a universal variance that had a huge number of different industries in it, and sent that to the state for approval because we needed to get our businesses reopened when the governor closed them. Because without businesses, there's no jobs, and without jobs, people can't make money and put food on the table. That's a huge mistake, and the governor should not do it again. So I just want to echo the statements from my colleagues that we do not have that authority to close, but if we did, we wouldn't do it. There's plenty of other things we can do before we ever get to the concept of closing down the economy. Huge, huge mistake, and I'm encouraging the governor to not go down that path a second time. Thank you.